Sometimes I have to do that, and sometimes I don't. I don't know why that is. And you don't have to have your camera on if you don't want to, but you can turn that up. How are you doing?
Good. How are you? I'm trying to get my camera on,
All the tech part.
right? My
Yeah.
lighting is funky.
Yeah. I took a shower really fast and my hair is like still kind of wet and so it's all fuzzy. Hi. I'm so excited. Yay.
Ah.
So everybody, a lot of you guys know the ethical psychic. Yes, there she is. So this is going to be amazing. I'm like a total fan of your content here and on YouTube. What is your channel name on YouTube for those who don't know? Because I
It's
can't remember.
Jennifer Lisa Vest.
Okay. We can't pin comments when there's a guest on here. Otherwise, I would pin that. But Jennifer Lisa Guest. I mean, Jennifer Lisa Vest, right?
Yes.
VEST.
Here, I'll put it in the comments too.
Okay, thank you.
I know
So
I
yeah,
know
go
it'll
ahead
get.
and follow her over on YouTube as well. I don't think TikTok's going to be banned, but just cover all the bases and plus it's
Yeah, but
much
I
more
might
to
be.
it. I know I keep getting into trouble too, like especially when I was sick because I kind of forgot about you know it gets hard to keep
Uh-oh.
with the code words.
I
It's
put it
like,
wrong.
oh, did you? Oh no, Janine, it's vest, like V as in velaptor. I don't know why I'm thinking of that word. Thanks, Janine. Okay. So, yes, Manny says I love ethical psychic storytelling. Yes, you are very good at storytelling. Very good. So we're using code words tonight, you guys. Code words, because we're both kind of like, I don't want to say being watched, but we've both had videos removed. I've only had one video removed, and it was right after the pie contest. And it was because I was explaining, because I was kind of switching my content from, I hadn't really talked about politics before that. Were you? Oh, you can't hear me? Oh, let's see. Can you guys in the chat hear me? Oh, the sound is off. My sound? Wow, what the hell? Oh, interesting. This has never happened before. Wait. It's like it turned us both off. This is getting weird, you guys. Getting weird. Pause alive. Okay, can you guys hear me? Maybe I need to start over. Can you guys hear me? You hear me? Okay, good. Now I'm going to add her back in. See, as soon as I started talking about anything meaningful, we got the axe. Okay, good, good. I don't know. I'm not using my microphone, so there shouldn't be any problems with the sound. So I don't know what's going on. So let me pull her back up. She's the one that needed to reset. Okay, thank you for letting me know. All right. Oh wait, Jacob, ignore that. I mean, yeah, ignore that. Oh no, Jacob, hold on. Sorry, Jacob. Hold on. Let me do ethical first. Why did it just switched to inviting Janine? What? Okay, TikTok is tripping lately. Remember last night it was saying that somebody else, who was that? JJ? Like Janine saw that she was supposedly muted, but we saw her typing in here. TikTok is tripping out. Oh my God, you guys. Ravioli and arugula salad. That sounds really good. Okay, let me see if I can. Sorry, you guys. Let me see if I can try to get this going again. I really don't know what's going on. Okay, I haven't. Okay, there she is. Okay, let's see. All these tech things are so annoying.
Hello.
Well, I would think it's spiritual, which everything is ultimately spiritual in my opinion, Janine. But a lot of other people are having problems with TikTok right now. So I know it's not just us. Oh my gosh. Okay, let me see if I can. Oh wait, there. Do you have sound too?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yay.
Okay.
Yay. Oh, how annoying. Can you
Ah,
guys in the chat hear both of
can you
us?
hear me? I don't have my. I took my mic off because I didn't know if that was the problem. So
Yeah, I sometimes go with my mic and I've had to not use it because it keeps having problems on
exactly,
here.
mine keeps having issues.
Yeah. Okay, good. Everybody's saying yes for both. Good. Okay, so I just want to kind of explain what I said to you to kind of be an intro to what we want to talk about tonight. Um, so I had been thinking about lately because, I feel like a lot of people were activated on November 6th, and maybe some new people to being psychic or having abilities or having their abilities boosted. That's what it felt like to me, was like there was a boost sent out. And so a lot of people, I feel like, maybe this is just me, but from people that come into my lives and comment, I feel like there's a misconception about what psychic or what intuitive or clairs, what it is, how does it work? And everyone's different, but just sort of let's get the conversation going. Cause I feel like people are like dropping, following people. They're like, you said this was going to happen on this date. And like, I just want to like have a conversation about this because this is important because you guys know who come to my live who are regulars. I talk about we all have these abilities, and I want everyone to strengthen their abilities and not judge it so much and not think, because I think for a long time I didn't realize I even had abilities because I was thinking it had to be a certain thing. And when I realized, wait, those things, that the flashes I get, me hearing people's talking, me seeing things and me knowing things, that's what that is. I wasn't sure if that was my. So I was thinking about wanting to make a video about that, and I had already reached out to Ethical before saying, I really want to do something with you. I don't know what though. And then I go on YouTube last night and she has a video on her YouTube channel talking about this. So please go check it out if you haven't. And we can speak a lot more freely on YouTube. So please support our YouTube channels because it's not as weird as it is here. But so thank you for coming on my live tonight. And I'm so glad that we can have this conversation because you're so respected in this regard and you're an amazing storyteller. So can you kind of talk a little bit about why you made that video last night and give people a little intro to you as well?
Sure. So I'm a medical intuitive and a psychic medium, a mystic, and of late a precog. And I say of late, I've actually always been a precog, but I don't much care for that gift for telling the future. So it's not something that I engage in a lot. It's basically something I engage in when my guides tell me I have to. And
Mm.
so November 7th, I got marching orders by my guides that I needed to start sharing what I was seeing with the public and to spread it as wide as as possible.
Yeah.
Um, so that's who I am. I'm an author and a teacher, so I don't currently see clients. Lots of people are pretending to be me and offering people readings, and it's funny because I'm not even doing readings right now. um, so on top of all the real people reaching out to me asking for readings and me having to say sorry, there's now people reaching out saying, "Oh yeah, I sent you, I sent somebody some money."
Oh
It's
no.
sad. So I've made so many videos about don't believe these imposters, but right now I'm just focusing on teaching what I do, and so I teach medical intuition and I teach Akashic records, and I have also taught psychic development for many years,
Wow.
and then I write books about what I do, and so ethical psychic, that actually is the title of the first book, and that's why I originally created this TikTok account, was to promote. I should get the book and bring it over here,
Yeah.
to promote my book, and
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's how it started. And then, but since November 7th, I've been posting almost daily about the electrical storm and about the various characters in this story.
It's interesting. My first video about this was on November 7th.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I was devastated, like obviously, like everyone else. I was surprised at my reaction. People who've been coming to my lives, I'm going to repeat myself some things that you guys already know, but like I had to drive. I'm in Arizona right now. I grew up here and I'm helping my mom, but I actually live in California. And so I had to drive out there. Oh, there it is. The Ethical Psychic. Beautiful. I love that. Is that on? I know a lot of us are boycotting Amazon, but is that available on Amazon?
It is. It's available everywhere. Barnes and Noble,
Okay.
Bookshop, Amazon, wherever.
Okay. Oh, good. Yeah, and also someone asked, how do we know if it's the real you? You know how I know because when I tried to send her a message, like five ethical psychics came up, but you have to look at the at. It's at the ethical psychic. There's no extra E's, there's no underscores, right? Isn't that the best way to
Right.
people?
Right. It's just ethical psychic, and I do put something on my on videos. Early in the early days, I didn't know to do that, and so people took the first, I don't know, like 10 videos I did and created an account with it, because I didn't know there were all these people that were going to impersonate me. Of course, that happens when you get a certain level of
Yeah.
followers, apparently.
I
Then
wouldn't know
people,
about that. That
yeah.
hasn't happened to me yet. So no, I
Oh,
don't know.
okay.
It's annoying
Yeah.
actually. I
So
don't like it.
I've heard there's at least 12 people at any
Oh,
one time
oh my
pretending to be
gosh.
me, and I can't see them because they block me. So I have to rely on my
Oh,
followers to report them for me.
okay.
I
I didn't
can't
even think
report
about
them.
that. That they block the person they're in. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So if you ever see someone that you know it's the wrong one, just report them because not that TikTok does anything, but every now and then they do. They do take people
I
down,
wish
but
they would.
they don't do it quick enough and they don't, I don't know, you think like they're so all over us if we say the wrong word. And then there's like a whole person getting money from people and they're like leaving that, and you're
Yeah, they
like,
don't care about fraud. It's very interesting. It's
yeah, it
very
is
interesting.
very interesting. Yeah. So I had to drive to California to vote. And then I drove back and on the I-10 and there were so many accidents. Weirdly, I do this drive all the time. Growing up in Arizona, living in LA, like I've never seen so many accidents. So driving back, I had my favorite TikTok people for the politics because like we're all not watching the news anymore. So I have a couple people that I listen to here, and I was listening to them on the November 5th on my way back to Arizona, and then right when I got back to my mom's, that's when they called it, and I lost it, and I was already kind of on edge because of the drive, but I like was shaking. I had a weird reaction. It was different than me. It felt anyways. So then the next day, I just remember I just felt different. Like it was the 4 a.m. club thing. I just kind of was like, no, this is wrong. And I know he's never going to be in office. I know that for a fact. I don't know all the details. I don't know how we're going to get there,
Hmm.
but that I know. And so then I just started going live, and then people were afraid and people were mad. And I just wanted to be like a constant presence in my world, at least to just say, just keep picturing the world that you want to live in. Just keep only, don't fall into the fear. And I love that there have been so many people doing that here and on YouTube. And I love that, how the community has just risen to the occasion.
Hmm. Yeah.
So,
Been amazing.
yeah. So then not knowing, so for me, I'll just talk for myself and then maybe you can tell me or tell everyone about your thing. But for me, I have like knowings and I get flashes of images when it comes to this kind of stuff. When it's other stuff, I can hear talking and things, but I don't get that with this. So I get like flashes and stuff. So, and I'll feel a feeling around a date, but I don't get details, especially with this stuff. I don't have a lot of details. And I think that not only, I think this is so unprecedented that even if I did get details, I wouldn't recognize what they were because these are things that have never happened really before. You
Mm.
know what I mean? So if I were like, they're going to do this, that, and the other, that wouldn't make sense to me if I were seeing. So I'm probably even seeing it and I'm not recognizing it. Thank you guys for the heart me's and keep tapping and sharing. Thank you so much. So yeah, you know what I mean? And I think you said something about that too in your video. It's just maybe you can speak a little bit about your journey with that.
Okay, you mean like since the electrical storm, that journey?
I like the electrical storm. I wish I would have used that all along. I
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
I was gonna keep my phone handy so I can remember your code words.
Just blueberries and raspberries and the tangerine, but everything else we can kind of,
Okay.
yeah.
And you can just, if you just use your terms, then also I'll hear you and then I'll repeat them.
Okay.
Um, but I've been using all kinds of terms, in my stories. And so I use the term the electrical storm, or I also use the term the joust. And I think you use the contest? What?
Well,
The
yeah,
beauty
because I wanted to go
contest?
on the pie theme. We were calling
Oh, the pie
space,
eating contest?
yeah, or it's just the pie
Okay.
contest. It was either raspberries or blue, or
Oh,
blueberry
oh, I
pie.
see. Okay,
Yeah.
so the night of the pie eating, the night of the pie contest, my sister came over and we were gonna watch together. And we come from a family that we're always very active in jousts, and so in contests, I guess. And so I had been, volunteering, and we had been invited to various parties, celebration parties, and we were trying to decide which one to go to. Like we were volunteering at this one place, we're like, oh, we should go there, and then then we should go to the one that's closer to my house, and there were like three or four. And my sister said, let's just go to your house and we'll watch it at your house, and then maybe we'll go to the party later.
Interesting.
And yeah, and so we were watching for just a little while, and my sister, who's an early to bed person, said, I don't feel good. I'm really tired. Let's just go to sleep. I don't want to go to the party. Let's just go to sleep and we'll find out tomorrow. And so I said, okay. And so she went to sleep, and I went to my bedroom and I could not sleep. But
Mm.
I also did not look at the news or look at anything. I just was up. And at a certain point, which I think was like 4 a.m., I just had this feeling like it's bad. It's bad. And that's when I went and got my iPad and looked it up. Looked up, TikTok. I didn't go to the news. I think I went on TikTok because I couldn't handle the news.
Yeah, right.
I went to TikTok, and I was seeing stuff that didn't look good. And then I started texting my other sister, and I said, "Are you seeing what I'm seeing? This can't be right." And she was like, "Yeah." Um, and so I then immediately was so upset that I immediately started researching like digital nomad visas to leave the country.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, my sister was still asleep, mind you. And I was just like, let me pick out some countries. And because I belong to so many groups, so many targeted groups, like some people belong to one group, like they're a woman. I
Right.
belong to like every group he hates except immigrants, you
Mm.
know? So I would be, just targeted in so many ways, and as would my family. And so I kind of went into that like, fear for like a few hours.
Yeah.
And my sister woke up, and I told her, look, we've got to leave the country. We got to make plans. They got to get the kids out of college. We got to go to another college in Europe. I was just like,
Wow.
and she was like, what? And and I had that sensation that day. Um, and I went to bed that night, or not even that night, because I hadn't slept that whole night. And so I went to sleep during the day on the 6th. And when I woke up from my nap, I felt like everything was going to be okay.
Hmm.
And I felt like, okay, I don't have to leave the country. This is not going to happen.
Hmm.
And I felt so sure of it that I went online and I started looking at other people's TikTok to see, is anybody else talking about the fact that this contest was rigged? Like, because I felt it very clearly, and
Hmm.
nobody was, because it was early hours, right? It was like, it was on the 6th, like in the evening, and nobody was really talking about it yet. And so I was like, God, am I crazy? Because I just know this is what happened. And there was no evidence yet. There was no data. There was, none of those data and analysts had come on the scene yet. Um, but I felt it very strongly. And then I went to bed that night, and the next day was the 7th. And again, I just was so clear, like, oh my God, this is so clear. And finally on that day, I think it was the 7th, I started to see other psychics talking about that they were getting the same thing I was. I came across a couple people, and I forget who they were now. But that gave me the courage to go ahead and post what my guides were telling me, because I was like, okay, I'm not the only one, right? If I'm the
Yeah.
only one, maybe I'm crazy and delusional. But I was not the only one. Of course, there was only a few of us at that point. But I think I came across like two other people who had the same dream, and I said, okay, I'm going to listen to my guides and I'm going to start posting. And so I've been posting pretty much every day since then. And what I do is my guides, I go into like a meditation, I go into an altered state, I leave my body, I travel up to various places, different realms, and communicate with different guides that I work with. I work with a lot of different guides. And so some of them are, ancestors, some of them are angels, some of them are star beings, some of them I call spirit teachers. They have a lot of different names. And so I do that, usually, I was doing that like every day and getting information and then figuring out what information I could share and then making videos about that information. Um, so I've been doing that for 7 weeks now. Now I'm also, a psychic medium and an intuitive. So I also do get information in other ways. And sometimes I get tired of going into an altered state and talking to my guides because it is taxing. And so then I'll just go like on strike for a couple of days, be like, I don't want to feel, I don't want to do this.
Yeah, yeah. Right.
But then I'll get information in other ways. So, like the other day, I read some cards. Last night, I actually made some cards to read, and or sometimes I'll just dream. Like when I go to sleep, I'll I'll have dreams that way. I'll get information that way, and so information can come through in a lot of different ways. I have all the clairs, so I'm clairaudient, clairsentient, claircognizant, what am I forgetting? Clairvoyant. Um,
Wow.
I forget it. I have them all, and I'm a medium. And so information can come to me in a lot of different ways. Doesn't mean that it always does all the time. I mean, I don't get information all the time. And sometimes, there'll be a couple days where I'm not really getting information and I'm not, especially if I'm too stressed, and a lot
Yeah.
of us, we're stressed. And so sometimes if you get too stressed and like you really want answers, that really goes against how psychic works. Psychic is a relaxed receiving mode. It's not a aggressive
Yeah.
go and get it mode. And
Right.
so if you get too stressed out or too anxious, then that can get in the way of it. And also, like if I try to talk to my guides and I'm too stressed out, what they do instead of giving me information is they give me healing. And so
Mm,
sometimes that's what happens. I go into a session with my guides and they spend just like the whole time working on me.
I like that.
And I'll be all annoyed, like, I need information for the people. The
Yeah.
people need information. And they're like, no,
Yeah.
you need some
Totally.
healing. The people can wait.
Yeah. I know. And because I switched my content because I didn't know. I was just started in July on TikTok. And I used to go live years ago and have a whole thing that I talked about. Thank you guys. Thank you. Um, and anyway, so I was just a hodgepodge of things. A lot of what I talked about was loss and spirituality and just that kind of stuff because I've lost some people in my life and that kind of kicked up some of my abilities. But right after the what did you call it? Not the jousting thing, the electrical
Electrical
storm.
storm?
I like that. Right after the electrical storm, people who didn't know me before July, they don't know that I'm very passionate about this. And I think everybody should be. I can't imagine how anybody could be apathetic or not want to talk about it. You must be an orange lover to not want to talk about how drastic. And then I was saying, like, I know this is a big turn for a lot of people, but I'm going to start talking about the electrical storm. And someone said on one of my videos, she said, it's not different from what you've been talking about because it's spirituality, it's loss, it's grief, it fits underneath. And I was like, yeah, you're right. So, anyways, but that's the only video that I had removed was a video that I talked about why I why I care about this and why I kind of think everybody should. But, and I was just using the words like GAY, my GAY friends. And TikTok doesn't like you to use that word, which is weird because it's like I'm talking positively about my friends. Like, they just have these sweeping rules, and it said that I violated something, and I fought it, and they didn't let it go back up. But it's on YouTube if you're interested. But it's such a shocking feeling when they do that to you on TikTok. It's just like, wait, what? What did I do? Like, and half the time they don't
It's happened
explain.
to me so many times. I don't say anything offensive about
Hmm.
anybody, and yet
Hmm.
I constantly get violations. I constantly get videos taken down. They're threatening to cancel my account.
Ah,
And it's just it's so upsetting because it's not right. Like they should go after people who are hurting people, who are
yeah,
saying harmful things. And I'm not saying harmful things. I'm
yeah.
saying helpful things. You
Yes,
know.
you are. And I do want to say, I'm so glad I found you. I don't even know how I found you. I don't remember. It was just in the beginning of all that kind of stuff. But I remember when I saw you, I felt like you're very calming and healing and grounding. And I feel like I could learn so much from you. That's what I felt. When I saw you, I just felt like, you just stopped me in my tracks. And I was just so grateful that you were one of the voices. So I'm so glad you put videos out because I wouldn't have found you if not. So, and I know you have the impact on so many people. So many people come into my lives even, and they say, "Do you know who she is?" And la da da da. So I'm like, "Yeah, she's
Oh,
great." So
really?
yeah,
Yeah,
you're
just
kind of a big
I was on
deal.
YouTube. Huh?
I said you're kind of a big deal around here.
Oh, well, that's what my guides want, They're like, you got to get out there. And and when I started getting attacked by the clock, um, my guides were like, I was like, what am I going to do? You're the ones that want me out here, but they keep trying to take my stuff down, and they're trying to get rid of my whole account. And so my guides are like, well, you just have to do more elsewhere. So I went and started posting everything on YouTube. And now I'm
Good.
actually trying to set up a new podcast
Oh, good.
so that I can keep delivering the messages no matter what happens.
Yeah, and if you need any help with your podcast, I have two podcasts, and I had a course on how to start a podcast. So if you have any questions at all, you can come ask me.
I have a podcast I've had for years. It's called Journal of a Medical Intuitive. But I
Oh,
was thinking I should create a new one specifically on this topic, post election psychic news, which is what I've been calling my
that'd be a
playlist.
great idea because this is going to go on for a while. So that'd be a great idea.
Yeah, I was just going to put up like all my old ones and then just keep putting them up just to reach
Yeah.
different people because with my other podcast, Journal of a Medical Intuitive, it's got a global, it's not super big or anything but it's got a global reach because my guides had me doing this same work, this precog work during the pandemic. And then it started reaching out to a lot of people in other countries. And so I was thinking maybe I should do that to reach people in other countries. Um, because a lot of this is about us raising our consciousness, right? And
Yeah.
so the reason that I'm on this platform or on any of these platforms is to help people get out of despair and move into hope and visualize the future they want to see. Because of course, together we can visualize what we want to see, and then we can manifest what we want to see. And so the
Absolutely.
more people that are on kind of this track, the better we'll all be.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we're going to kind of weave in and out of different things, but why don't we shift and talk about this week and tomorrow specifically and what you feel? I'll talk about what I feel. So, do you want to start with anything that you feel it might be happening? Some people say it's not going to just be tomorrow, but I think there's going to be something that's going to happen tomorrow. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm you know what? I had some notes. I did a reading last night. I haven't posted in a couple days because of all the suppression. Oh, I posted on YouTube. So if people go to YouTube, I posted this 30-minute video, really long video.
Oh, good. Okay, yeah.
Um, so what did I get from I got some notes from my reading I did yesterday.
Make sure you
Um,
guys follow Ethical here on TikTok and also her YouTube channel, which is Jennifer Lisa Vest, Vest.
yeah, so when I tried to I'll back up a little and say what I've been getting for quite some time. What I've been getting for quite some time is delay, delay, delay. And so I was really expecting the electrical college would be delayed. And now it looks like there's evidence to suggest that it was. We just didn't know about it because now people are talking about the National Archives website and how 21 colleges took their enrollment data off the website, which is bizarre because apparently the enrollment data was on the website and now it's been taken off. So these are all code words, people.
Yeah.
and and so that seems to suggest that what I got was accurate, and I don't know, maybe I wasn't accurate, or it's always a matter of, did we interpret what our guide said correctly, or did we interpret what we got correctly? And we can mess that up, right? And so I thought, oh, I must have got that wrong when I thought that the electrical college would be delayed, but now it looks like there's some evidence that something is really awry with the college data, and that might become evident tomorrow in the big conclave. Um, so I don't tend to get specific dates, and so I haven't gotten like tomorrow's date as a specific date of something's definitely happening. But when I did a quick kind of tune in yesterday, I got grid outage, um, and I was like, grid outage? Is that a literal grid outage, or does that mean that there's going to be like a failure, that things aren't going to go through? And then I saw today that there's some big snowstorm happening tomorrow in the
That's right.
capital.
Yeah.
Um, so that's all I'm picking up about tomorrow specifically is grid outage. But in general what I'm getting is lots of delays, and I don't see the what's the word we're going to use for that? Oh, did you give me a word for that term? Let me look it up on your
No,
speech
you
sheet.
mean the certification?
Yeah.
Maybe we can say that. The certification of the
There,
pies.
yeah, the certification of the pies. I feel like there's going to be a delay in that. So that's what I see for tomorrow is something happening and there being a delay. And I also see a delay in the big ceremony.
Yeah.
That's supposed to happen in 2 weeks. I see that being delayed. Um, I also did get the ninth, and I haven't gotten anything more about it yet, just that the ninth is significant for some reason, December 9th.
Night.
Um,
You mean January
yeah,
9th?
sorry, January
I
9th.
know, I keep doing that too. So
We're living in
January
an
9th
alternate
is,
reality.
I know, January 9th is Thursday. The sentencing is Friday, the 10th.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
so, yeah,
one of the
go
things,
ahead.
one of the flashes I've been getting the whole time, and of course I got COVID, so this is my third week. I'm just at the end of it now. But so all those abilities were numbed out to me, and that was very stressful because, oh, January 9th is Carter's funeral. So that's interesting.
Oh, yes. Yes,
Yeah.
I heard someone say something about some other dreaming person said something about Carter's funeral being significant. And when they
Mhm.
said that, I was like, that feels right. So that makes sense that it's on the ninth.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That
Right.
lines up with what I got.
See how there's like an energy around a date? You don't know exactly what it is, but you'll have an energy around the date. I mean, I'm just saying that's how it is for me. And then you kind of figure it out. You kind of go backwards and say, what is it? What is it? And you're
Mhm.
looking around and then you go, and you get a bingo feeling like, yeah, that's it. That might,
Yeah.
you go, that might be what it is because you don't know until it actually happens. Um, so for me, in terms of everything that's kind of the bigger picture, what I've been getting is these flashes of being in a big room over a period of time. I see the head blueberry, sitting there, and there's a bunch of different teams, like legal teams, and they're all like a kind of like a war room, like they're going through every possible scenario to stop the 20th. Every possible avenue, just even ones that seem really outlandish, but they're just trying and then each team is responsible to run down every single thing that could happen, what the rebuttals would be, what they could do for that. And that's been going on for a while. That's what I get. It's been going on for a while, and they're literally just running it through, like how a prosecutor would run through a case. Like, what are all the different things? And so that's what I feel. So I feel like they're very prepared. I was talking to someone else earlier who's great here on TikTok. I can't remember what her name is on TikTok, but we were talking in a private message, and I was saying if it were just the blueberries in this scenario, I could see why a lot of us would be worried and maybe worried that we're going to be disappointed that they're not going to handle the business. But this is bigger than the blueberries. This involves a lot of raspberries. This involves a lot of other countries. This involves the military. There's a lot of people who do not want him in because having him in means having potato in and a bunch of other things. So this is different than any other time. This is not like any other contest. And so it's broader, it's deeper, it's involving so much more than blueberries. So that's kind of what I get. I get images of way bigger things and more, so many possibilities that which one do they go with? I don't think they always know necessarily. And maybe that's why they're always switching it up. And if you're new here, we have to speak in code. That's not on us. That's on the big TT in the sky because we have to speak in code. A lot of people always give me crap about that, but I'm like, I don't want to do this. I want to say the words. But
Right.
but yeah, so that's what I get. And I don't get details. I just feel like the reason why I think we're shrouded, like we're not supposed to know necessarily too. I think there's some of that, that we're just meant to be in this and that, like you said earlier, we're kind of developing our abilities. And maybe that's part of it too, that if everyone just got the information, they wouldn't be checking in with themselves. So maybe we're needing to go through this together where we don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different type of dreaming women out there, and I coined the term dreaming women to apply to all of these people who predominantly are women who were either woken up at 4 a.m. After the joust, or who have been having dreams and getting intuitive hits since the joust. And some of us are people who have been doing this our whole lives, and others are just waking up now.
Yeah.
And we're at a certain point in history, the rise of the divine feminine. And as part of the rise in the divine feminine, we're going to have a rise in a recognition of intuition, particularly female intuition. And it's no accident that, 90% of the people who are dreaming right now and posting and giving us information and doing prophesizing are women. It's not an accident. It's quite intentional because of the point we are in history and how we're meant to evolve right now past toxic masculinity into a more balanced relationship between the various genders. And so, of course, there's more than two genders, and there are more than two genders involved in the dreaming, but it's being led by women. And many of the people who are dreaming, regardless of their identity or body parts, are tapping into their feminine aspects.
Hmm.
And that's allowing them to develop their gifts.
Absolutely. And in my life, I don't know why people come in and say, does my, like, either they've had someone pass away in their lives and they come in and they'll say, is my husband with me still? They'll ask me, which I understand why they're reaching out, or they'll say, am I going to get the job? And so for people who come to my live, I always say, what do you think? What do you feel? When you're alone, what do you feel? I want people to tap more into themselves because when I scroll around TikTok and I see people just answering people's questions, they do the cards or whatever, and they go, no, no, you're not going to get the job. I think that's so horrible. It just strikes me as like so wrong. And whatever. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole, but I just want to say we all need to check in with our own inner wisdom. We all have it. We all have that connection, and you can develop it at any time if you have any feelings at all. Like, matter of fact, I want to make a recording just for myself of all the things that I've felt and seen. And I'm going to do it tonight for the contest so that as it all unfolds over the next few weeks, I can look back and say what parts of it, what was I getting that matches what happened so that I can learn, oh, when I had that one feeling, this is what it was. And that's how you build it. I almost feel like there's like a coach in my head. It was probably a guide with me all the time, testing me, saying, what do you think is around the corner? Or what do you think is going to happen when you open your email? So I'll say what emails I think I'm going to get. And then I open the email and those are the ones that are there. So I've been working on this. So I'm kind of at the beginning stages of, not really though. I mean, I've been doing this my whole life, but in terms of publicly talking about it with other people. I'm really at the beginning stages of that. And that brings out a new level of doubt because you're like, am I good enough at this to talk about this with other people? I talk like this with my friends and with myself, but so I'm very much respectful of people who do this for a long time because I think that you really have to learn how to deal with this with other people, don't you think? Like, did you have a learning curve with that part of it where you were dealing with the public with your abilities?
Um, well, I'm very fortunate in that I've had a lot of different types of training in my life, which have all kind of come together to prepare me for this moment. So I am an artist, I'm a poet, I've done a lot of public speaking. I used to be a professor and I gave a lot of lectures and I became popular in the, I became, my talks became popular. So I was invited to speak a lot of places. And I was a slam poet and I used to do a lot of open mics and,
Wow.
and so I had this background in public speaking, which I think really helped me. And then I've also just had a lot of different types of training as a psychic. I had a lot of different teachers. I had different traditional indigenous teachers. I also worked with spiritualists. I took a lot of classes, psychic development, mediumship, healing. I'm a Reiki master. Um, and then I have a lot of traditional education as well. And I think all of the different trainings that I got, I feel like they were all meant to prepare me to do this work because what I've gotten very clearly in the last several weeks is that this is go time. This
Hmm.
is what we incarnated for.
Yes.
This is the time for the light workers and the star seeds to activate and to begin to do the work. And so if anybody has, any gifts, now is the time to use them, to shine them, to embrace them, to get up on a pulpit if you need to, like to just accept this is who you are and really step onto your path. You know.
Absolutely. Yeah, and a lot of people will say, I'm afraid, I'm afraid. I'm like, it's okay to be afraid, but also know that your soul chose this time to come into this world. Like you knew on a spirit level you were coming into this and you were down for the adventure. So try to lean into that part of it. And I'm not saying smash down your fear or toxic positivity. I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying acknowledge your warrior, acknowledge the part of you that's so strong and that is connected to wisdom and that, we are all going to be okay. And, a lot of stuff is an illusion. A lot of this stuff is just an illusion of power and scary stuff. And it's meant to make you feel like that. It's meant to make us feel like there's chaos and nothing, that good people get smashed out, all that stuff. So just remember it's designed that way to make us feel that way. So if you feel that way, it's understandable, but don't get stuck there. Just move into the peace, move into being grounded, develop some practices that help you stay calm and stay connected and follow people that reinforce that for you.
Yeah.
That's why I follow you. I have like 5 people, maybe 10 across YouTube and TikTok that I follow that if I'm feeling scared, I'll just go to your channels and I'll solidify the part of me that, is more spiritual and powerful. So that's what I
Yeah.
say about that. um, yeah, so I don't feel like he's ever going to get into the office. And I do feel like it's going to be stressful. And at times it's not going to look like that. I've said this from the very beginning. Don't let what you see freak you out. Stay calm and stay connected to just moving forward. Like, because it's going to get weird and just let it get weird. I think we're all marinating in weird right now. That's a good thing about all this weird stuff going
Our
on.
new normal.
Yeah, the new normal is weird. Like we're we're good. Okay, I'm gonna see a couple questions. Nona, were either of you overwhelmed with your gifts? I've refused mine my whole life. I can't reject it now. I like that. I'll let you answer that first.
Oh yeah, when I was younger, it was overwhelming and I saw it as a gift and a curse, and so I went back and forth between accepting them and rejecting them and trying to turn them on and off. Because I was, as a medium, I was seeing all these scary, spirits, and I was seeing into the future. I was seeing, war and hunger And that's kind of hard to do when you're like 9. I remember when I was 9, I just was given all these visions. And then again, when I was in my early 20s, I was given again all these visions. And that's why I say I don't like precognition. I don't like prophecy because it's usually about something bad.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so I've tried to avoid it most of my life. I've tried to avoid being a precog, and I've tried to focus on other things. My main identity is as a healer. But then sometimes my guides, step in and say, "Oh no, you're going to do this work. You're going to do this work now." And I think that for the questioner, once you get some clarity on why you have the gifts, and once you find a way to use them to help somebody, then they stop being so scary. And like I stopped having scary experiences altogether once I stepped fully onto the path of being a medium and using my mediumship to help others. But before I did that, spirits were just constantly harassing me. And they do that because they're trying to push you into acknowledging your gifts. And so they'll be all dramatic because they're trying to get you to take it seriously. And the only way they know how to do that is to create these dramatic experiences for you. But once you accept it, you can stop having those dramatic experiences. Also, you can set the terms for how you experience your gifts. We're not a victim of our gifts. When
Yeah.
we're younger and we're first developing, we may think we are, but we're not, and we can take charge of them. But you have to want to take charge of them, and so once you do, then it's a very different experience.
I love that. I don't think people, that's a great one because I don't think a lot of people understand that. When I was like, probably around 20, I started getting night terrors and very in like insane, crazy visions and different things. And I was so scared. Nobody in my life really understood it. Like my mom grew up Catholic, so the closest thing to her was like, it's the devil, and I was just like, no, no, no. I knew it wasn't that, but I knew that it was just so overwhelming. And I remember I didn't want to stay awake. I didn't want to go to sleep. Like I was just, and I remember just making a deal with my subconscious. And I said, kind of like you were saying, they were dramatic. I felt like they were getting dramatic in my dreams because I wasn't listening. So I said, if you calm down the dreams, I'll learn how to do dream analysis. I'm going to, buy books and do whatever I need to do. And so that's when it started for me, my journey of like really communicating with my subconscious and guides and spirits and everything because I realized it's not going to work like this, so just calm down, but I need to honor that and really learn it. And so I did. And it calmed down. But when my friend was killed and then my brother died right after that, it sort of
Mm.
reactivated me into all this because they both died young and they really shouldn't have died. And, it was like both tragic. And they were both like key Jenga pieces in my life. I say that all the time. It's like, we all experience loss, but it's really about the time in your life, the relationship with the person, and all that kind of stuff. And it was like my brother and then this friend of mine. They were like people that really were part of my foundation. And so them coming out like that, my whole life just, kind of went down. But because I was so connected to them, and I still am, them being on the other side or, them not being physically here threw part of me over there. And so it like amped up all my gifts. Whatever gifts I had before, they are way stronger now because I think they're part of what helps me. And they show me things. They talk to me. I can hear things now. And even in my lives, sometimes spirits have, I felt people come up behind me and hug me or like come into my body when someone lost her son. So I'm still on the journey of trying to figure it out. But if it gets overwhelming, I just say it. I say I'm overwhelmed or I feel scared or whatever. But I knowing that I am in control of what happens for me and in my world is the best thing. I know that, I'll say like, I'm here for the highest good of everyone. I just sort of set the tone for that. I light my candle. I just align with that and I don't let fear and all that other kind of stuff come in and just take over and like, oh, spirit's here. I just have to take whatever's happening. I don't think they even want that. So I think if you're having anything like that, just start working with the energy, start talking to them, start figuring out what your boundaries are. What can you do? Do you get tired, at night? Do you get scared because you're tired? So then maybe don't do those kinds of things at night. Figure out a time to do it during the day. So just try to learn. I think that's what I would say about it. Learn about that. Okay,
Yeah.
seriously. Thank you for the heart me. Let me see. Does anyone have any other questions? Oh, Nona said I've had 5 NDEs. Wow, with each one my gifts enhanced, even if I've refused it on the surface. You are definitely being called, definitely, 100%. Um, Tracy, can we ask what Lisa thinks about next week? Me, Lisa, because my real name is Lisa, or Jennifer Lisa. How can you tell you're being called? Uh, Maybe you should answer that.
Hmm. There's a couple of things. It should feel like if you're having a dream or a sign that you're meant to do something, it should come with a positive emotion. It should come with a nice feeling, a light feeling, or a happy feeling. It shouldn't come with like a fearful or a sense of overwhelming responsibility. It shouldn't be a negative thing. Um, if you're called to do something, you should get the message more than once. And you can ask for that. Like what I did with my guides when I was really young, when I was first kind of really accepting my gifts, is I would say, well, I need to get it this way. I need to get it 3 times. I used to always need to get everything 3 times, and I had to have it spelled out in English.
Yeah.
Words. It had to be in English words, not angel codes, not symbols. Not. I needed it in words. And
Mm.
so the way that I would get it is a bus stop would have a bumper, a car would have a bumper sticker, a bus stop would have a sticker, a billboard would have a phrase, or a book would literally fall off a shelf in front of me. There would be these things that happened, and it would have the same message, 3 times. And so, if you have any doubts, then ask for that. Ask for clear messages about the fact that your guides or that your higher self wants you to step into a particular role.
I'd like to add to that that the fact that you're asking the question means that's part of the call. I'm a filmmaker, so like, if you think of it as like you're looking through the viewfinder at the thing, but with spirituality, you look at through the viewfinder and you back up and look at the camera and you back up and think about the person looking through the camera. So even in the questioning of spirituality or any of those kinds of things, the fact that you're questioning it, that you're on the path, you're part of that, and it's going to keep leading you back to yourself and to more questions, and that's a good thing. You want to always have questions, because once you think you have it all figured out, you're in a dead end. You're somewhere wrong, I think. But um, yeah, I mean, I just think like there's so many people right now that are not here. They're not questioning it at all. They wouldn't even be drawn to a room like this. They'd look at this and go, no, and they just move on to something else. So the fact that you're interested and you're talking like this and you're thinking like this, that's part of the call.
Absolutely.
Let me see any
Most
questions.
people are not called. It's just for perspective. Most people are not called to do
Yeah.
this work. And most people, wouldn't want to do this work. And most of us don't even want to do this work. I mean, it really, people who don't do this work think it's enviable. It's really not. It's work. And it's a huge responsibility. And so it's not something that you seek out, it's something that seeks you out. And it's just about us accepting it and saying, you know what? I'm willing to take this on. I'm willing to use my gifts to help others.
Yeah.
I'm remembering that I incarnated to do this, and I'm not afraid. I'm gonna give it a try, and then you just kind of open to it, and it's very beautiful the way things unfold for you.
Hmm. Yeah, I couldn't imagine what positive thing, what good could come of my friend and my brother dying, like the way they died, the timing of them dying. And so I needed to go through that darkness. And I went through that for like, because I always turned everything, I was very spiritually, I could put things in the right framework and stuff. But when they died, it was like, I was so mad at God or whatever. I was just mad at the whole thing. I was like, what good can possibly come of this? And So then when I started going live and on here on my channel, because I felt like I felt this calling to want to create a community. And every time I tried, it didn't really work. Like I'd get like four people. And then it just, what is it like, And so I was like, I'm just going to start going live on TikTok. And I have no idea what I'm going to talk about. I have no idea who's going to come or if anyone's going to come, but I'm just going to start. I'm going to go. So I started in July and I said I was going to go live every single day until the end of the year, until the 31st of December. I got sick, so obviously missed some things, but for the most part I went live all the time. And in that, it just took a short period of time to realize that the loss that I've experienced and the spiritual abilities that have heightened because of that is such a huge part of what I'm meant to do with my life. I don't know how yet. It still hasn't fully, you know, developed, but I feel it now, especially with all this stuff happening with the contest and with just helping people navigate this because I've been navigating all of this my whole life. So to get to this point, this is nothing. This is just like, okay, I'm ready for this. I can help people because I know because I went through the darkness. The darkest dark where I really it was dark for like, a couple years for me. And so the fact that I'm alive and I'm here right now and I'm able to talk on my phone to people from wherever all over the place is amazing and it's such a gift and I'm going to as long as I'm alive, as long as I'm here, I'm going to be using my voice and my visions and my love of people and love of this process of learning and going forward and facing fear. I'm going to, do that. So it kind of has given purpose to a lot of darkness. So um, that's how I see following that.
Yeah,
Buddhists. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say we grow through the challenges, and we often develop our gifts as a result of what we've gone through, like what you went through.
Emily Ann has a good question. What is the difference between work that you're talking about versus all having intuitive ability? I think that's a good question because you do a lot of work in this field.
Hmm. Okay. Well, being intuitive is one thing, having gifts and having the ability to get information through your higher self or through intuition, through symbols, through different tools like cards and pendulums. That's one thing. But then having that gift be in alignment with your purpose for being here will usually then result in you doing something like the work we're doing, that Lisa and I are doing here, where we're going on every day and sharing our gifts with the public. Or in the case of my work as a medical intuitive, helping people with medical mysteries, like if it's meant to be, if it's part of your purpose, then you're gonna use your gifts to do work to help people, and that's what I mean by the work. Um, and so those are it's kind of on a continuum. Some of us just come here and have gifts, but we're not meant to do that full time or do that for a large part of our life. We're just meant to have the gifts and then to go lead kind of a more traditional life. And others of us have come here to really devote ourselves to using our gifts to be in service to humanity, and that's what I mean by the work.
One
And
of the things
only
too.
you can determine what your role is. Only you know. You know when you tap into your higher self. No one can tell you that you aren't this person or that you are this person. Only you can tap in to your higher self and know why you came here.
Mhm. And also, I think living your life, forward, and incorporating your intuition and your abilities and your gifts and all that kind of stuff is different than when you look back. Like so like for instance, my friend that was unalived, um, I dated him, and when we were dating, but we just were very, connected. Had a spiritual connection, and even after we broke up, and I just felt like when I met him, he was like a person I've been talking to my whole life. It was the most connected to any human being on my journey as a human that I'd ever experienced. And so it was weird because we were like young. And I remember saying, whoever dies first should let the other person know that there's an afterlife and that they're okay. And, we were young and he was laughing. And I'm like, why are you laughing? And he's like, because what makes you think I'm going to die first? And I was like, I don't. Whoever does should come back. Like, let's just make that promise to each other. So he's like, all right, I've never asked anybody else that. Never. And I only think about that now. Looking back on that, that was just being myself. That was literally authentic to me in that moment. I was just being myself. Now, okay, so then when he died, I felt an energy around me buzzing and I didn't know what it was. And it also felt like I didn't realize this, but anyways, the circumstances of his passing, there's a lot of fear around it. So his energy didn't feel the same. So I was in LA and then I went up to Northern California to his funeral, and I was staying with a friend, and he has a cousin who's psychic in Buffalo, New York. She called him and she said, your friend that's staying with you, she lost somebody. And he said, yeah. And he said, tell her that he's trying to keep his promise to her, but she keeps pushing him away. And I never told anybody that. And she described my bedroom in LA, which was a very unique bedroom. It was really weird. She described my bedroom. She described how he was touching my hair because he always liked my hair. She's never seen me. I've never met her. I never even told my friend. I never told anybody. So it's like those kinds of moments. It's easier sometimes to see the power of how our intuition and our spirit is working in our lives when we have that proof or we look back or something like that. But my thing is I'm always trying to bring that same feeling of oh my god, I'm trying to bring that into my everyday. Every day, everything I'm saying, every decision I'm making has the potential of being something very important, or something very profound or helpful or something, instead of it needing to be something that somebody else confirms. Do you know what I'm saying by that? So like walking forward with it and just being yourself sometimes doesn't feel as powerful or mystical or magical as it actually is. All these little things that we want to do, like when you want to move to some state and then you move there and you're thinking, what am I doing? Why am I always so crazy? Why am I here? And you end up meeting this person that totally changes your life. So if you just follow these things, know that it's always happening in our lives. It's always there. Walking in your truth, exactly. Following follow that feeling. I call it follow that feeling. I have a whole podcast episode about that. Because even when you say intuition, then people get caught up in semantics. Well, what is it? How do I know if it's my intuition? Just follow the feeling. Whatever that feeling is, follow that. Oops. Okay. All right. Is there any other questions? Do you guys have any other questions? Will Lotus be POTUS in 2025? I believe she will be.
Yes. Yes. But like Sky Girl, I see, I've talked about this a lot in my videos for the last several weeks. I see a lot of players involved in this story. There's a lot of characters. And it's it's not just the blueberries or the raspberries. It's not just our realm, but it's many realms. And it's also all of these international realm organizations, NATO and UN and ICC. And there's a lot of different realms involved. And it's a global what happened was global, and the way it's going to be resolved is also going to be global. And it also involves all these merchants, we'll call them merchants, these people who make a lot of money selling things. The richest merchants are also involved, and it's not just like Starboy and Theos and Bozo, the obvious ones, or the Book of Face, or these kind of obvious merchants, but there are other merchants that we don't even know about behind the scenes. And some of them are recognizing that the way that the joust came out, the pie eating contest, the way the pie eating contest was decided, is not in their best interest. And so this is really important because we have all of these other realms, we have these international organizations, and then we have these merchants who are all recognizing that the publicized outcome of the contest is not in their best interest. Obviously, it's also not in our interest, right? The people. But we have to understand that there are so many different groups that are all recognizing what happened and how it doesn't serve their or our interests. And it's complex, it's complicated. And it can't be as straightforward as we would like it, because if the blueberries were to be the ones to come out and say the raspberries cheated,
Yeah.
that would just create a lot of conflict. And so it can't happen that way. It has to be these third parties, what I've called in my videos neutral third parties.
Mm.
And they will most likely be global neutral third parties who will be the ones, to step up. And so it's complex. And that's why it's taking longer than we would like.
Yeah, and I mean also the how quiet the blueberries were after the contest, that was another clue to me that there was something going on. And the fact that everybody jumped to the conclusion that they weren't doing anything because they were quiet, I was like, is this your first contest? Because every contest I've been around, there's always talking afterwards. I mean, they always contest and you should to some degree. I'm not against the questioning. The problem that happened last time with the blue or raspberries is that they were told by the tangerine that that's what happened. Nobody told us. We're just the 4 a.m. club. We felt it. We know it. Whereas their thing was the tangerine was telling them over and over and over and over and over again what it was. And then it was never proven. And so that's when the problem happens. It's not in questioning things, it's when it never has any proof and they never let it go. Whereas, that's a lot of apprehension a lot of people have too. At this time, you don't want to come across as a Lulu, blue raspberry, but that's part of how they have us too, because then it makes you feel like, well, I don't want to question anything. No, fight that, resist that, because if you need to question something, you should question something and not don't let that affect you. But I do think it's very complex. Woo! Thank you. That's beautiful.
Well, let's just
I,
stop here and make a little public service announcement. This is for entertainment purposes only.
yes,
We're just
thank you.
sharing stories and impressions, intuitive impressions. We don't claim to know exactly what happened or what's going to happen.
Thank you. Perfect. And also, I just want to say, make sure you follow Ethical Psychic and also on YouTube. It's Jennifer Lisa Vest, Vest. I'm also on YouTube, and the links are in my bio. Is your YouTube link in your bio as well?
I think so.
Okay.
I've got a link tree.
Woo!
Should be in
Okay.
there.
Yeah, the
I
link
need to
tree.
double
Okay,
check.
good. Yeah, so I think also, yeah, the reason why we're not getting clarity on a lot of stuff is because it's complex. I like that you said that because it's involving so much. It is not just the blueberries. If it were just the blueberries, it'd be a whole different thing. So it's a whole different, whole different thing. So, and I also don't think TT is going anywhere. That's my personal opinion. I
Oh
do
yeah,
not.
I don't either. I said that weeks ago. It's not gonna that's not gonna happen.
Yeah. But it's still good to support us on YouTube because we can speak more freely there. I usually just post the same videos there, but I might just start doing a little bit more in-depth videos there where I can speak freely like a normal person and use regular words because that's driving me crazy.
It
Um,
is.
okay, so can I ask? I think the spirits of Nola disabled the bees, BOMBS. Were there BOMBS? I haven't kept up with that. With the car that,
I didn't get anything about that, so I don't have anything to say about that.
okay.
And I'm going to
Um,
speak about what my guides tell me to speak about.
I wish I could talk like, because for me, I feel like I don't even, how do I lock onto that so I can say guides? Because for me, I feel like when I say guides, I feel like the people that are, I call them spirit guides, spirit family, angels, I kind of say it all. I probably am being disrespectful, but sometimes I feel like they laugh, like they're like, it's not that serious for me. You know what I'm saying? Does that make any sense? And so, like, I love when people are like, my guides, and they say it in a confident way because I never know if it's just me or if I probably shouldn't have opened this up, but that's just something I love that when people say
Let's
my
let's
guides.
answer more questions. Let's answer more questions.
Let's go back to the chat. Okay, is he going to jail? No, and the judge already said he's probably not going to do that. So
Yeah, I'm getting a no, but I also was shown some other information about him. So it's not going to end well. You know, jail isn't the only option. Um, So I was shown something that's not jail, but um, you know, equivalent, just as bad.
Yeah. um,
Yeah, and yeah, and I don't see him. I got to be careful with this, but I don't see a long lifespan.
the light is the energy is low. Yeah. Um, so yeah, I don't think he's, and then Space Boy, Spaceman, whatever you want to call him. What do you feel about him? I can't, he drives me nuts. So I think my personal bias, I have a real like anger towards him.
I've been talking about him for 7 weeks, and when I first started talking about him, I know people thought I was crazy because nobody was talking about him. But I laid out how it went down, how you know, the finagling went down the week after the joust. I talked about it, and he's the key figure, of course. And there are several. And in my story, I call them the seven thieves, and so one of them is Starboy. What did you call him? I forgot.
Spaceman, like Space
Spaceman.
Boy. Yeah.
He's of course the one that used his. He's one of the people that used technology to assist. There's also one that I call Theos, and then there's another one called Bozo. And if you go to my vids, you can figure out who's who because people always figure it out in the comments, although I can't really say who they are.
Yeah.
But basically, these are three people, three merchants who've made a lot of money on technology, and they use that knowledge and that money. Um, and they did that. And here's where it's all going to fall apart. Here's where the House of Cards is all going to fall apart. This is the part that's good for us. Those of
Yeah.
us who believe in justice and freedom and democracy. Is it's not going to stand because um, basically they each have a desire to be world leaders, specifically Starboy, right? But there's others like Rasputin and Bozo. They all have that same goal. They want to be world leaders. And that's why they did this. It's not really just about our realm. It's about all these other realms as well. It's about the world. And this is going to backfire for them because if, nobody wants to be controlled by one person. So the people that were backing the Naked Emperor when he was going into the pie eating contest did not realize that he was not actually going to be the emperor, but there was going to be these other people who were in charge and he was just going to be a puppet. And those other people are not happy about that. It's okay if he's helping everybody's interests, all the merchants. But if he's only listening to this one guy or just a couple guys like Rasputin and Starboy, and they're the ones calling all the shots, well, that's not going to work out for the other merchants. And so this is why it's going to fail because basically they want too much. They weren't happy with just trying to have control of this one realm or this
Yeah.
one person or this one economy. They continue to want control of everything. And greed goeth before a fall in this case.
Yep.
It's not enough to be the richest merchant in the world. This richest merchant in the world also wants power. And so this is what his role is. The Naked Emperor thought he was using Starboy to achieve his own ends, but in fact, Starboy was using Naked Emperor to achieve his own ends.
Yes. Ding, 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 ding. I definitely get that. Also, I think that Naked Emperor is in an unsafe position now.
Right,
You know,
exactly.
because he's just been a piece for the puzzle, but he's hard to control. He's his own person. He's probably mentally declining. I mean, not probably, he is. Um, so he's kind of in the way. So, woo, thank you. So I would think that that makes him kind of dangerous, or okay. So that leads me to: do we think anybody's going to flip in the contest? Like, What are your feelings about that? Like, maybe someone's been a mole the whole time, or that they.
Yeah, I said this weeks ago. I had a video about this. Yeah, there's definitely somebody like that. At least one. There might be more than one that's already cooperating.
And what do you, since there's some new people in here, because I'm seeing the questions, what do you specifically see for tomorrow, if anything? Do you get anything at all for tomorrow?
Um, I just kept, I got that earlier. I got that word. What was that word I got? Grid failure,
Oh, yeah, that's right.
uh, grid outage.
Grid outage.
When I tapped in to ask about tomorrow, I got grid outage or, failure. And I got generally that this week, possibly by the 9th, there's going to be some information revealed. And I do not see the ceremony happening on schedule. The big ceremony that's supposed to happen, I do not see that happening on schedule.
I feel
And I
like,
think it's going to start to. I think it's going to start to happen tomorrow. I mean,
yeah,
stuff's been going on for quite a while behind the scenes, and that's all I keep being told is there are a lot of things happening. Um, the frustrating part is we're waiting for people to announce things. And so, of course, we want to know when are they going to announce it. I'm thinking by the 9th, they're going to announce something.
yeah. And I think tomorrow we're going to start to see some of this is my feeling. I feel like tomorrow it is going to be the first pieces of above ground public conversation, or I don't think it's going to be one big announcement. I think there's going to be like pieces that are coming at us, and um I feel like something is going to start coming out tomorrow, but definitely through this whole week. And I 100% feel like the ceremony will be delayed, and I don't think he's ever going to be the one in the ceremony. And I think that the head blueberry is going to be extended through this process to stay on while the legalities are all worked out. And I think that Coconut, I forgot to tell you who Coconut is.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Who's
Coconut.
coconut?
Well, Coconut is, what's she
Queen
say?
Lotus
Yeah,
Queen.
Queen Blueberry. So,
Yeah, Lotus. I call her Lotus Queen, but yeah,
yes, that's
coconut's
right,
good.
Lotus. I love that. Because doesn't her name mean Lotus?
Yeah, her name means well, we shouldn't say that, right?
Yeah, I know. That's even like on the radar. Well, anyways, I feel like
In the story, there's a character called Queen
thank God we're
called
making
the
this
Lotus
movie
Queen.
together. I'm so glad that, we're doing this film,
I
and we're
know it's really
discussing
fun
it.
because we're both writers, and it's fun to kind of put our ideas together, come
Yeah.
up with new
Wouldn't that make a
stories.
great film that would uplift humanity? Well, even in screenwriting, because I studied screenwriting, I'm a filmmaker, and um, your film is only as good if you're doing a narrative film. Well, even documentaries, as bad as the bad people or the problem in the film, your problem has to be so believable and so awful that everybody in the audience is scared and is on the edge of their seat and is mad. So I'll give it to them. We're there. They did it in this storyline. Earth 2025 season 1. Yeah, it's doing a great job with the
Yeah, yeah,
writing.
you have to have a really good villain, and then
Mhm.
you have to have a main character that people are rooting for,
Yeah.
that has a problem, but that you want them to solve it. And we
Mhm.
have that in this story. This
Yeah.
is a great story.
It's great. Yeah, and I felt like there was so much warmth and hope and joy with the coconut or the lotus, and it felt so good. And then the evil thing came, so it's okay, we're not done yet, story's not over yet. But I do feel like lotus
And
or
our story
coconut.
has so many villains, and so many twists and turns. We have a lot of plot twists,
Yeah,
keeping everybody on the edge of their seat,
this
right?
is a
Everyone,
series like on HBO or something. This is not a
there's no
movie.
I would say one critique I would make of our story is that there aren't enough lulls in the plot.
Yeah.
There's so much suspense and drama.
Yeah.
Like we probably should have given the audience time to relax between the major
Yeah.
events. But no, we just one big event after another.
Yeah, it's
One
a little
villain
too
after
much.
another.
You have to throw in a wedding every now and then, or some other
Right? Where are the
storyline.
weddings? Where are the cute babies?
Yeah, we need a baby to be born. We need, yeah, we need
Where's the funny subplot?
the side stories. I know it's too much. It's like Game of Thrones, though. It's going to be very, involved, lots of different things. But
But the
yeah.
Dreaming Women is an entertaining subplot. The rise of the divine feminine, the Dreaming Women, the 4 a.m. Club. This is an interesting subplot in our story.
Mm-hmm.
That
I
is,
was I was so relieved when I saw that. When I saw people talking about the four, because I had that experience. Like it was like boom. I was crying, I was shaking, and it was like something in me just went, nope. I had clarity and calm, and I was just like, no. And then you hear other people, you and other people talking like this. That's something that I'm so grateful of this whole experience that how amazing is this? You
yeah.
know?
Oh, I know. I'm so grateful because so many people were in so much despair, and I only felt that for a few hours, and luckily I got this information, but I could feel the despair like every time I left my house and I went like to the grocery store or someplace where people were gathered, because I'm an empath. Oh my God, it was overwhelming, the despair that I
Mhm.
could feel, and that just really encouraged me more to, I have to post more, I have to do more of this so that we can help pull people out of this despair.
And a lot of people in my life they're not on TikTok and they're watching regular news, and I come in and go, okay, here's what's going to happen. And they like totally think I'm like, they're like, I hope you're right, but they don't see anything. And so I finally told my mom earlier today, I said, just so you know, you're going to start hearing stuff on the news this week. Finally. I
Yeah,
think regular news is going to have to address something at some point. Um, but so that's going to feel, in that way, it's going to feel kind of, I don't know, vindicating or something because I'm getting kind of
exactly.
tired.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're Delulu. They're calling us Delulu, Blue Lulu now,
Blue
but
Lulu. Yeah.
eventually they're going to be asking us questions. How did you know? How
Mm-hmm.
did you know? And
Yeah.
that's going to be a really important question for humanity, because then it's going to cause a shift in how we view intuition. And there's
Yes.
going to be more acceptance, more people are going to want to develop it, and this is going to be good for everybody.
Which brings me back to why I wanted to do this live with you was that this is so important that we educate people. At least my journey will definitely be that. And I know you are all over that and way ahead of me on that, but that we educate people about what even is all of the intuition and the abilities and like knowing how to tap into it for yourself, knowing that you can set boundaries with it, knowing how to have a relationship with it and grow with it. It's so important. And a lot of people are just getting started or just being activated. So, we'll just continue to be out here doing this, but it is so important. And I'm so glad. I've been kind of lonely on this journey. So I'm so happy to have all these people around now. I'm like, hi. Yeah, I know. We're like psychic. It's so cool.
Yeah, it's a wonderful community that we've created.
Hmm. Yeah, and
Hmm.
I saw actually I don't know if you got I don't remember, there's so many videos we're watching now and articles that we're reading. Never before have I immersed myself in so much information. But she was part of the 4 a.m. club and she talks about it on her channel and if anyone in the chat knows who I'm talking about, please say something. But she was approached by a journalist about doing an article about it because they were interested in the 4 a.m. club. And she made it sound like she thought it was really cool. But then when the article came out, it made her and all of us sound stupid. And,
No, that was I was one of those people.
oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah, so I was interviewed by a Washington Post journalist, and then
Yep.
she also interviewed another dreaming woman on here who, actually, I think she talks about it, so I think it's okay if I say her name, Gia Prism.
Hmm.
I gave the journalist names of other people, and she contacted some of them. But when the article came out, it was terrible. I mean, I shouldn't say it was terrible. It was completely lacking in content. It was very superficial, and it was dismissive. But what the journalist told me was that the editor cut half of her article out, and so they cut
Oh,
the whole section out. They only had like one quote from me, and they had a couple quotes from Gia, but it was basically just talking about how delulu we were, and didn't
God.
include any of what we said. None of the content, none of our predictions, none of our stories. Nothing. And that was super disappointing because my guides told me that if that article did go out, like if they had actually published the article that she wrote, it was going to have, it would have had a positive impact. Um, but as time goes on and things start to unfold, that will change.
Yeah.
Um, and it's okay if people think we're crazy. It's just something we have to accept that
Yeah.
if people don't have access to this, then of course they're going to doubt it, and they should. You should be skeptical of things that you don't know.
Hmm.
I can't be skeptical of what I know because I know it, but I understand other people being skeptical of what I say I know
Yeah.
until they see the data, and they should ask for the data. And I'm looking for the data. I want to see the data to support the dreams, and I think we'll see it. It's just taking some time.
The thing that I think is so great about intuition and that everybody has it is that when something resonates with you as being true, maybe, like that's why we need to share our voices because I'm saying something and someone that's in the chat might say, I resonate with that. It lifts up your energy. You feel something that feels like, yes, yes. So I like that you're saying be skeptical and you shouldn't just buy what people are saying off the shelf. Like you should have your own discernment and check in with yourself. And if it feels right, then that's kind of how you move forward with it. But I don't know anybody who's like an intuitive or a psychic that wants everyone to just believe them hook, line, and sinker. Like I don't think that's how it works. We want you to feel like it resonates, that you're like, yeah, okay, that feels about right.
Yeah, and
Um,
that's why I'm always on here looking for evidence of what I've gotten. Like I was very happy to see over the last several weeks that there's now all this chit chat about Starboy because what I got about Starboy, 7 weeks ago, there was zero evidence of it.
mhm. Yeah,
There was zero
right.
discussion of it. So I
Hmm.
was asking, I was of course doubting myself, why am I getting this so clearly and no one's talking about it? Well, now they are talking about it. And so, you know, we should always be checking what are the dreaming women saying, and then also what are the people who are doing the data analysis and the journalism saying, and how do those accounts compare? And we are seeing a lot of congruence right now in what we're saying and what they're finding, and
And
that
we all
will
have our expertise. We all have something that we're good at. Some people are good at visual recognition of something or they see patterns. Um,
right.
some people are really into studying history. And so they've got it locked. They remember, what they learned about 1863, or whatever. So everybody brings something to the table. And that's what I love so much about social media when people are sharing, because it's like we are learning so much from each other. It's amazing. But to talk about Starboy for a minute, I was tripping about him before the contest. I was very skeptical. I thought something very weird was going on. I wouldn't say I got it the way that you got it, but he started irritating the living hell out of me. I was like, he stood out to me like he was wearing a red sweater in a room full of people, wearing black. I was like, something's going on with him. He is weird. He's acting weird. Something is off. And then obviously now, but everyone was talking about JD. I don't even know if we have a word for him. Do we have a word for him? I don't think we've ever had a
I
word
do
for
not
him.
have a word for him except maybe mole.
Molly, Molly, Molly. Yeah.
The little brown mole.
Okay, so everyone was talking about the brown mole, and couch guy. I like that. That's good. That instantly says a lot. He is MIA, even energetically. When I try to check in with him, I feel like energetically he's far away. Do you feel that way? Like he just,
Yeah, he hasn't shown up in any of the transmissions I've gotten apart from the mole issue. He hasn't otherwise shown up. So he
that's
doesn't feel
wild.
like an important figure. And so I think some people are worried. Oh, is the Naked Emperor going to be dethroned, and then the
Yeah,
mole is going to be throwned? No, no,
no,
because he doesn't have any energy. He doesn't have any energy in this whole story. He doesn't really. He's not. He has no main character energy. You know,
no.
he doesn't even have hardly. He doesn't even have like side character. He has like extra. He has
He has
extra character
expendable
energy.
character energy, like the one that you have that's like killed off in the beginning of the the movie. Not that I want that to happen to him. I'm saying like film screenwriting wise.
Right? He totally has that like lost subplot energy. Like, oh, we have totally forgot about that character because he's just not germane to the main plot.
No, he's totally not. He's just, yeah, like an extra, a guy in the background that's like a waiter walking by. He's like nothing. Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
like, you know those movies where there's a character who's always talking about another character, but they're never on screen? It's
Exactly.
kind of like that. Like someone's talking about their ex, but they don't even hire an actor to play
No,
them because they're
there's
just
no
not
photo.
significant enough.
Yeah, there's nothing. Yeah, that's what he is.
They don't move the plot forward, so they're not even worth hiring an actor to play.
Zero investment in him. Yeah, zero. And
Right?
also, I think what's going to happen, what I get intuitively, entertainment purposes only. I'm crazy. Who knows what I'm talking about? This is so fun. I love talking about scripts. I feel like
We're
he.
just storytellers.
We're storytellers. I feel like Head Tangerine, Naked Emperor. That once that part is sorted out legally, the whole thing goes with it. So that's why I don't think Molly will stay, because it's not that kind of thing. It's not like Tangerine goes away and so then the next one steps up. No, I think what's coming is the whole team is going away.
Right. It's like if you have a plant and you just cut off the top, it's going to regrow. But they're going to pull the plant out from the earth, roots and all. And so once
Mhm.
you pull out the plant roots and all, nothing can grow. And so that's why the mole, will never play a role, you know, going
Uh,
forward.
Alicia says, "What about Princess Margarine? What role did
Oh,
she
she's a
play?"
really interesting character. Oh my God. She's trying to be main character, right? She's just so much, oh, I want to be the main character. And so she keeps inserting herself into the plot like me, me, me. And I keep getting energetically that she's an important character in this story.
I do
And
too.
so she came up when I did some cards the other day as somebody who had a lot of issues, immature, but was going to be a key player. And then the very next day we had that post about I
Mm.
don't know what's going to happen. I don't think he's going to make it to the 20th.
That was so weird. I'm trying to get
But
because
also with the I don't know what we want to call that stuff, the really really bad stuff that some of these men do in the
mhm.
house of decision making. She wants to reveal all that, and that was really interesting too because she's not normally a caped crusader, right? She's not
Mhm.
normally someone who's trying to fight for justice, right? But she's kind of like playing with the idea of I want to be this heroic character, and she has for all the wrong reasons, right? For
Yeah.
all the wrong reasons, but um, but I feel like she's going to play a role in helping to defeat the Naked Emperor without
Hmm.
even that being her intention, you know?
And also Loomer, same energy, same situation. She's all of a sudden breaking it down. I'm like, girlfriend, he didn't just become like this. Where have you been?
And this is all part of the FAFO, that I've been talking about in my videos, the FAFO event, right? That what I was
Mhm.
told from the very beginning was it was not going to be revealed anytime soon because FAFO needed to happen so that the raspberries would have time to evolve their consciousness past conflict, right? Because we don't
Yes.
want conflict. We don't
Yes.
want national, fisticuffs, right? We want to all get along. And if the news was announced shortly after the big contest, then we would have had some conflict. And so this FAFO, which is taking place right now, has been taking place for weeks, is necessary for us to get to that place of peacefulness and coexistence and for raspberries to realize that their emperor is actually naked. They need to have that revelation on their
Mhm.
own.
Yeah. And I even feel like the Tangerine winning the pie contest is all part of what needs to happen, what needed to happen. I think this is just my thing. I think this has been, many, many, many years in the making. And this is all part of a trap, really, to kind of try to pull everything out. So I don't think they acted upset. There was something off intuitively when, we were upset, but I felt like they were like, okay, so that's what happened. Oh, darn. Okay, so you want to come here and have lunch? Okay, yeah, let's have lunch. I was like, there's something so suspicious. Like they acted
Very
like
sus.
they knew that was going to happen. You know,
Yeah.
they weren't like outraged. Like, what do you mean you called it at 10 o'clock? Why'd you call it before? You guys said it'd be days before the answer would come in. Like, normally people get outraged. There's everyone asking questions. Everybody was too quiet. And then AOC, what can we call her? I don't know what to call her. I love her. She kind of was saying stuff too. And they probably got to her and they're like, do not say anything. And she's such an open person that she's like, you guys, so much stuff has happened, just don't worry. It's all going to come out, and it's like, oh no, what are you doing? Don't say that.
I
Well,
see people asking about star beings in the comments.
okay, yeah, go ahead and answer. Let's answer. You pick it.
Okay, I mean, I can't really see the comments very well, but every once in a while I
Okay.
see one. And I saw people ask about contact and about star being. So I wanted to just briefly touch on that because that's been a big part of what I've been getting, and I've been talking about this in all my videos. There's a connection between the star beings and the contest. It's all related. It's not coincidence that, oh, there's all these, and it's not a distraction. So people think it's a distraction. It's actually all connected because what the star beings told me is that they are here in part because of the joust,
Mm-hmm.
because there's only two conditions in which they would show up en masse the way they have. One of them is a Newtonian war, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one is if somebody is controlling us without our consent. And Starboy is actually a star seed who actually is getting assistance from nefarious star beings. But the rest of the cosmos, the Galactic Federation, they're all like, that's against the rules, that's not allowed. And so they're coming here to monitor the situation and make sure that we aren't being unfairly treated. And also because there are two people who, Naked Emperor and Rasputin, who are both interested in Newtonian type conflicts. And so we are at that kind of risky, um, turning point.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's all connected. And so, yes, we will have um, contact soon. Um, it's kind of, it's around the corner. Um, and I don't know the exact date, but I just keep getting soon.
That's going to be awesome.
It is.
I just want to say welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for coming in here. Make sure you follow Ethical Psychic. She's also on YouTube. She has a link in her bio because we can speak more freely there. And also be sure to follow me if you resonate with what I'm saying as well. And thank you guys so much for being here. And also, if you can, hit the orange heart if you want to join the Sky team. And just helps push me out a little bit. And I think it does something for you, but I have no idea what yet. I've been saying that since July. TikTok is always like throwing things at us, and I get overwhelmed. I'm like, thank you. I have no idea half the time. They're like, you just got at this thing and the other thing. And I'm like, yeah. So, anyways, can I go live and can I post videos? That's all I really want to do. I don't know what's happening. It's so much. But does anybody have any questions for either me or for ethical? Mostly, I want you to ask her because I'm just so happy you're here. This is amazing for me. So, thank you. Thank you,
Someone said, did they
Rebecca.
move up the timeline for contact? I'm going to say yes, they did.
Oh, okay. Will Elon go or will Starboy go to prison?
I'm getting a no. What I got instead was being stripped of everything. Those are the words that I was given, being stripped of everything. And my interpretation, and I'm not sure if I'm entirely right, but like licenses, contracts, citizenship, privileges, rights, this kind of thing. So
Yeah, a lot of
probably
what
that's
he's
why.
done is from government contracts. You have to know that about it. I've learned that. It's not like I'm this big government contract person, but and so as you see this crumbling, that's not a thing anymore for him. So he's going to kind of lose um, that hold on things. It drives me nuts how he's trying to get involved in every single country. How do people not see that that's a problem? Every country's elections, every country's politics. It
A lot
bothers
of
me.
people see it as a problem.
Yeah. I'm glad that Germany's kind of fighting back and going, don't get involved. Um,
Yeah, so is UK
yeah, good. And,
and Romania.
I know, I was just going to say, Romania's been really wonderful, with what's going on there. Where did I just see? Oh my gosh, it was somewhere near Russia. I don't know what to say about that. Where are they having all these big protests and all the people are coming out into the streets? Darn it. I wish,
There was Georgia, Romania, um,
Serbia, maybe.
Syria. There's been
Syria.
so many.
Yeah, I just saw a girl post and she's like, America, media won't tell you this. And she was showing all the people there. I was like, oh my God. It just like was yesterday or, it was just recently. So it was really beautiful. I've been really inspired by what other countries are doing. And, we really, for everybody in here that's afraid and you're like frozen and you feel like you don't want to do anything, think about our ancestors and the stuff that they had to face to get us to this point. Even women voting. I mean, every step has taken a lot of courage and a lot of facing a lot of fears. So we have that. And also look around the world. Look at all these people, what they're facing. They're facing bombs in their faces. I hate to say that. I shouldn't have said that. But they're facing so much more life and death situations. And they still have to stand up and be strong in that moment and find their courage. So find inspiration and courage from those situations, from our ancestors, and know that they're with us, and from people all over the world. Boom, boom, exactly, Laura. Because we're part of this historical time in mankind. We're part of this with the other, like she was just speaking about the contact. I mean, think about that. Of all time, it's actually going to be talked about. um Although I think that there's been a lot of contact throughout history of mankind and it was a normal thing for many times. Don't you feel like that? Ethical? Like, don't you think that we've had normal relations with other star beings in in
Yeah.
in times of mankind?
Yeah, I mean, there's been interaction for centuries, and in fact, two of these sets of beings are actually indigenous to planet Earth. So we just think of them as
Oh, I
the A
love
word,
that.
So we have those people in the water, and we have the people underground in the caves, and they've been living here for centuries, and some of them have interacted with people, and so like a lot of indigenous cultures have stories about communicating with water beings or communicating with underground beings, or star beings. There's a lot of traditions that talk about that, but they've kind of been, hidden or suppressed. And
Hmm.
I think they're going to start to come out again now.
Yeah, it's exciting. Keep seeing a question from Janelle that I want to just throw out there. Can you say whether Bernie Sandman knows about what the blueberries are doing? What do you think?
I don't know. I would say probably not. Um, I didn't get anything specifically about him, but I keep getting that the need to know list is quite small. The people who actually know what's going on, I think it's a small group. In terms of the blueberries, I mean, I think there are international characters in this story. Um, but I think it's a national, what I call a national society issue. And whenever it comes to national society issues, um, there's classifications and restrictions on knowledge, and I think that's why a lot of people don't know exactly what's going on.
I feel like he's like a relative that you tell certain things to that. you want him to know some parts of it, but you don't want to tell him everything just because he's the kind of guy that wouldn't deal with it that well or something. So you're like, Uncle Bernie, mom and dad have been getting along lately, and dad's been snoring, so he's sleeping on the couch. Like, you tell him something so he knows what's up, but you don't tell him the full story yet. That's what I think.
I love Uncle Bernie, but
I
just
do
let me say
too.
personally,
Yeah. But he's not
big
really like
fan,
he's not really
big
like
fan.
he wouldn't be the kind of person you could tell. I don't know. I might be wrong. But
Yeah,
I feel like
yeah.
he's so practical. He's so like straightforward kind of guy. I could even be like, don't tell me all that. What are we going to do on Monday? Like he's like the kind of guy that doesn't want to go deep in the weeds with things. That's just my feeling about it.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean it's interesting because we have some of these top blueberries who say a little something that makes us think they know a little something, but then they say something else that makes us think they don't know anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
And is that intentional or is it because they haven't been read into the story?
Yeah. And what a lot of people are, with California kind of leading this in some ways. Do you get any feeling about I'm so happy that I'm a Californian, even though I'm in Arizona right now. What do you get about that? About
Adam's apple. I'm so excited about Adam's apple. Do you get my meaning? So
um,
you're talking about California. We got this guy from California. We'll call him Adam's apple,
okay.
who's going to apparently who might be leading things tomorrow. The senator out of California,
Is he
and
the one
he's bringing
bringing
a
the?
guest.
Is he the one
Yeah,
bringing the officer?
he's bringing a police officer escort with him to the big conclave, which seems to suggest that he might be starting things off, or leading things, or starting something up. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm very excited about it because I've been a big fan of Adam for years. He was our rep, now he's our senator, and so I'm feeling very hopeful about that. I got really happy today, and so I'm feeling really excited about tomorrow. I'm not getting any detailed information about it, but I am feeling excited and hopeful. And the challenge has been like I can feel, and I keep getting told so much is going on, so much progress is being made behind the scenes, and the challenge is, when are they going to tell us? When are we going to get the news? When are we get the proof? And so I don't know if we're going to get the proof tomorrow, but I am feeling very excited about some type of progress being made tomorrow.
Are you in Northern California or Southern California?
I'm currently in Southern California.
Okay,
Yeah.
I've lived in
I just
both, but
moved from Northern California.
oh, okay, yeah, because I lived in
I've lived in both.
yeah, me
I've lived
too.
in both a few times. Yeah.
Studio City. I lived in Studio City and Sherman Oaks forever, and then when my brother and my friend died, I went up to Vacaville, which is near Sacramento, and I was up there for a couple years, staying at my friend's winery, and then I started a film festival up there. So I call it my triangle of existence because I grew up in Arizona, Scottsdale. So it's like Scottsdale, LA, San Francisco area. So it's like nee, 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 nee. I'm always doing the road trips.
Yeah, I have family in all three places as well.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'll take a couple more questions and then you probably have to get going. I'm just so
I'm getting
happy you
tired.
came. I want to do this with you regularly. I love talking with
Yeah,
you. You
thanks
guys,
for inviting me. I
yeah.
my people keep asking me to do lives, but I've been afraid to because of all of the, suppression I've been encountering on the
Hmm.
clock. I've been afraid to post, I've been afraid to do a lot of things. So I'm really glad to be able to do this with you because my guides want me to keep talking and spreading the word, and I just have to find a way to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like a live doula because I'm always trying to get people to go on live. Like I go, just come on my live and practice. And then they go off and they start doing regular lives. And I'm like, oh, yay. You have to get over
Well,
that fear.
I'm learning from you because the one live I did, I couldn't figure out my moderators, and I was so overwhelmed by the questions. I had so many questions, and I'm learning from you that you can just talk and you don't have to answer all the questions, but I tried to
I
answer all
know.
my questions.
I know. Well, normally when there's like only like 50 people in my live, I will scroll back. I'll go on a monologue about something and I'll scroll back and try to make sure. But there's just too many people. So you just have to, if you have a question and we haven't answered it, ML is Marshall, the law of Marshall, I think.
And I'm saying no to
Just
that. No.
yeah, so that's her answer. I don't get a feeling about that, but I would lean more. It resonates when you said that. It felt like, yeah, there's nothing. I feel like if there is anything like that, it won't be something that directly affects all of us. It's not going to be like during 2020, stuff, how weird that felt. I don't
I
think it'll be
can,
like that.
just to be honest about things, it's not all roses. I do see some us going through some challenges, because when I see the Lotus Queen up on the dais in the position of power, I also see shenanigans around her. And so there is something that we're going to have to deal with that's going to be challenging.
Hmm.
But what I see is her very clearly in that position, and that we just have to be patient. And I don't see ML. I don't see WW. I see some small things. I think there's going to be some small conflicts, like we're already seeing a couple we saw on New Year's Day. We're seeing little things break out, but we're not. I don't see big things. Big things. I also don't see the big P word. The what can we call that when people are all stuck at home and wearing funny things on their
Oh,
faces,
yeah.
um, like we did for a few years back in back
We'll
in
call
the
it
early
bandana. I
2020s.
don't know. Bandana. I can't
Bandanas
think of
around their faces, and yeah, I
Yeah.
don't see, and
No.
and bird illnesses.
Achoo,
Yeah,
achoo.
I'm not seeing that um, on that level, so I don't think that's something that we need to be fearful of.
Hmm. So I don't get a feeling about large opposition, physical opposition either, but I definitely know there's going to be pockets of it. I think there's been so much confusion and breaking apart of the raspberries. Like they're not as solid as they were. I feel like they're like, because they're confused. Now all of a sudden they're supposed to worship this electric car guy. They're not electric car people. They've been making
Yeah,
fun of us for being electric car people or blueberries.
right.
So now all of a sudden they're like, oh yeah, yay to that guy. Wait, what are we
Like
doing?
that's
Like
not the guy we. That's not the guy we filled out the contest form for.
exactly. And then now also with the what is it with immigration with the H1, H2 and all that stuff. Now they're going, "Wait a minute. What?" And they're like, "Yeah, we need to do that." So I think they're starting to kind of their hold on each other and in that group is breaking apart a little bit. So there's still going to be people that are going to be fighting, but I feel like inside of them they know this is not for their best interest. I feel like they know they're starting to see this like the bros, and the way that
Yeah.
Space Boy was jumping around on the stage. They're starting to see like remember they used to make fun of the blueberries for being elite and being all these money people. The richest man in the world is now on the orange ticket. They
I know
can't
it's
fight
crazy.
anymore.
It's all part of the FAFO, what I call the FAFO event. Like they just have to come to these realizations about who he really is and what he's really about and who's really pulling the strings and who's really in charge and what their agenda actually is. It's not the agenda that they put the tickets in for.
Yeah.
That's not what they wanted. They didn't want this agenda. And this is good. It's good for them to have these revelations. It's painful for them, but it's temporary pain versus long-term pain, right?
Hmm.
Um, so it's yeah, I do see that evolution of consciousness happening, and the separation between red and blue is going to decrease. I think
I
we're
have
going to
two
be feel.
questions for you. One is, can you speak about the power of our what we visualize and what we put our mind to and our energy and the power of that? And then also I want to ask you about the Tesla guy at the hotel. But
Okay. So this is something I've been talking about a lot because this is what my guides have been asking me to emphasize from the beginning is the importance of each of us having a vision of the future that we want to see. And so the most recent thing I suggested to people is that we start creating vision boards. It's the beginning of the year. New year is always a good time to create a vision board. You get your magazines, old magazines, and some poster board and some glue and tape and scissors, and you cut stuff out and you create an image of the world that you want to see. And you could do a vision board specifically about the joust, specifically about this realm, about what you want to see for your country. Um, and you could get together with your friends and do this.
Mhm.
Um, and in your living room, and you could do it virtually on your phone.
Yeah.
Um, but this is really important. Visualizing the future that we want to see. This is why it's so important for us to not be in despair, but to try to stay in hope and faith about the outcome. And this is also why it's important for us to talk to other people. So I was given this very strongly that if you are a member of the 4 a.m. Club, if you're a dreaming person, if you're getting intuitive hits, or if you're just on TikTok getting information that has led you to believe that things are going to go a certain way, it's actually your job to spread that information to all your friends and family. And you have to get over being called Delulu or people thinking you're crazy or whatever. Don't worry about it. Let them think that. They can think whatever they want, and in a couple of months, they're going to think something else. So you just got to get through this period of time of them thinking whatever they're going to think about you. But if you focus on the bigger picture, which is the more people that visualize the future that we want, the greater chance we have of it coming to pass, because our thoughts are things and they're powerful. We are powerful people, each one of us. When we work together and we all start visualizing the same dream, it helps it to come into our reality sooner. And so
Yeah.
just really tell everybody.
I want to say that on that one, I was talking about one of my lives that I feel like a lot of the futuristic movies in America are negative. You know, they're like showing these post-apocalyptic worlds, and it's like I feel like that's gotten into all of our minds. And I remember when I was in, I mean, years and years ago, I was in New York and I went to an IMAX, and they had a futuristic, like a little girl living on a space station with her parents. And so, we have the goggles on, we're in IMAX. It feels like you're inside of this. And it was the most amazing thing because it was such a positive view of the future. I mean, she was walking around and she went into the place where they had all the plants, where they grew the food that they ate. And I mean, it embedded some visions in my mind that I had never even thought of before, like living on a space station that's orbiting Earth. And so then it led me to, and this was before December 1st, and I said, let's do a 30-day journal prompts where I'll send you things to think about that you can write about that are positive. So if you're interested in that, let me know, because I have all the journal prompts so you can go back and you can look through them and pick the ones you want. But that was hard to do because I was running out of things to ask. I was like, oh my God, I was like going to chat GPT at a certain point. But I think it's important that we break that down and start picturing that what we want politically. Farms, how are we interacting with farms? What are like, what's international business like? What, be thinking of all things that have to do with being a human on earth, how we interact with the environment. Think about the stuff that you want, that is the one you want, and that, start picturing that. Okay, so now the second one is the thing about the Space Boys vehicle. What do you get any feeling about that?
Yeah, I just got that it was another FAFO event. You know, this was a follower. This was somebody who followed the Naked Emperor, and they became disillusioned. And so the symbolism I thought was very indicative of that. Using that particular truck and that particular building, um, it just to me looked like another F around and find out um, evidence of a revelation in a former follower. I know that there's been stuff going on the internet about some big conspiracy theory about him being unalived by somebody else, and something to do with spies, or I don't know, Chinese takeout. I don't believe in that conspiracy theory. I don't think it's uh, that's not what I got. So I'm not saying I know the whole story of what happened there,
Yeah.
but it just what I just got from it, what I picked up from it was just another FAFO event.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do want to point
What
out
did
that
you
we're both
get?
wearing blue shirts, so we got the blueberry memo. I like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. One more question. Anyone have one more question? This is going to be the most amazing question that's been asked all day. Okay. Um, 18th and 19th. Oh, is 18th the Blueberry March?
I think so. And then 19th is the victory parade or whatever.
That's so weird.
It's very weird. I don't have anything specific I got about it, just that I thought it was evidence that they're worried that they're not going to succeed. And so I think it's very encouraging because there's no reason to organize a separate ceremony when you already have a big ceremony that's already a victory ceremony. So why organize a second victory
Yeah.
ceremony unless you're worried that the official victory ceremony isn't going to happen? This is your backup plan. So I'm very encouraged by it. But I am worried about. I know people were saying that there's some type of protest being organized on the 18th, and if they do that, and then the people on the 19th come, it could be a big fracas. And of course, we don't want that. We don't want any conflicts of that nature. And so I understand people being worried about that. Um, we don't need to be getting into any fights across party lines. This is the time for that is over. Um, this is no longer a party issue. This is a country issue. This is a save our realm issue, save our democracy issue. It's no longer about teams,
No.
and so we can't allow any more division to be sowed amongst us. And so yeah. So I don't know what that means for the people, because I people they want to be able to voice their they want to be able to speak and protest, and they should be able to. And so I don't want to tell people don't go, because people need to do whatever they need to do, right? We all need to do whatever we need to do to participate in our country and to do what we can do from whatever position you're situated in. I happen to be a dreaming person and a dreaming woman, and so my job is to do this work. Other people's job is to be out on the streets organizing or creating art or making phone calls or writing letters. We all have a role to play. Um, you know, so I think everyone needs to pursue that, and hopefully there won't be a big conflict.
Well, and I think that the Blueberries had planned the 18th for a while. So them doing that on the
Oh
19th,
yeah,
more of that sabotagey energy.
it's very sus. Yeah,
Yeah.
the timing of it, but I think more than sus, it's just very confirming that they don't feel confident.
Yeah. Yeah. And
This
he,
is their
he also
plan B.
wants,
Why do they need a plan B? They got to. This is their plan B.
yeah. I'm hoping that whatever unfolds this week makes it clear that the 20th is not going to happen, so that maybe the 19th gets canceled and maybe even the 18th somehow. I don't know. Okay, so the last
Yeah,
question. Sorry, someone wants to know about this the secret between Orange, Tangerine, and Johnson. I don't feel anything about that, but remember how he said that they have a secret? I think it was just.
I
Well,
think
go
the
ahead.
secret was just that the joust was rigged and Johnson knew about it. I think that was the secret, that he knew they were going to win because it was a guaranteed win.
Yeah.
Um, that's the only secret that I picked up on.
I was so mad that the Blueberries started throwing other Blueberries under the bus, saying, oh, it was their campaign. It was a brilliant campaign in a short period of time. There was a swell of support. Everybody was excited. There was so much love. There was so much everything. And you really think the Tangerine doing the oral with a microphone is a brilliant campaign? Do you think that, you know, the German, whatever, what do you call them? Rallies. I don't know, all that weird stuff they were doing. They weren't doing a great campaign. That's not what happened. So I don't. As soon as I heard them even go near that, I was like, no, 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 no. I'm not listening to those people. No, that was awful.
Yeah, and
Remember
it was
that
it
right
was
towards the
it
end?
was it was it was sad to watch those first couple weeks, because for those of us who have these gifts, we knew what
Hmm.
happened. but most people didn't know what happened. And so, in the absence of that information, people came to logical conclusions, right? And they started talking about, who was to blame and what did this mean about our country. And those were logical conclusions to make, but they were made in the absence of this intuitive information.
Yeah.
And, this is the problem that's going to be, it's not going to be like that in the future, because we've been, for hundreds of years, we've been relying exclusively on empirical data and logic to the exclusion of intuitive information, and it has not served us well. And this is going to become just so clear at the end of this situation, when everybody recognizes that the intuitives knew first, and they knew things in detail that nobody knew because they didn't have the data yet.
Yeah.
And then this is going to cause people to rethink their extremely negative ideas about intuition. People have to rethink that and recognize that this is a valuable way to get information. It's just as valuable as collecting empirical data. It's just a different
Yeah.
kind of data.
Thank you for saying that. Well, thank you very much. Thank you for coming in here. And can you show your book again? Do you still have it right there?
Oh, yeah.
The Ethical Psychic book, available everywhere, bookstores. I love it. What does that say? A guide? What does it say
Oh,
underneath there? Wait, it's
it has a
backwards
long
for me.
subtitle.
A beginner's guide of healing with integrity. What is that word?
Avoiding unethical encounters and using your gifts for good.
Ooh, good. I like that. Nice. Well, thank you very much for coming on with me. I do hope we do this again because I just love this. And I don't know, chat, would you want us to do this again? I feel like we should because I already feel calmer too. And I'm the one who's talking like this as well. So I think it's good. Just like we're talking about visualizing things, we need to keep the vibration of different people in this community coming together like this and having these discussions and answering questions and stuff. Good. You guys seem to like it too. Hit daily. I don't know if we can do it daily. Thank
Well,
you
if
so
they
much.
allow me to do it, I'm under some suppression on this platform right now, so I've been having a hard time. But if I'm allowed to, I will do it more.
Yeah. Ooh, thank you. You should do it. You should go more and let me know when you do, tag me or send me something because I would absolutely love to come to your live.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that would be great. Yeah, I should do one. I should do one.
Yeah. What about YouTube live? Do you ever go live there? I don't go live there.
I no, I haven't. I did only one live on TikTok. I've only done one, and I keep meaning to do another. And I did try to do a YouTube one, but I was trying to do them both at the same time. It was too much.
I know, I know. That's what people there want me to do that, and I'm like, just wait. I have to be confident in this for a while, and then maybe I'll add something. But I think you maybe almost need to do them separately because people in the comments, that's the whole point. They want to interact with you, and if you're looking at one, and then it's too hard.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I guess unless you have a lot of moderators,
Yeah,
um,
that's
so you
true.
got to figure that out. Because I had a number of people who volunteered to be my moderators for the last live I did, for the only live I did. But then I couldn't figure out how to make them moderators. Because in the moment I was so excited and I was trying to I had two devices up doing two platforms. I was doing
Yeah.
too
Oh
much.
God, that's probably why you were like, okay, I'm not going to do that again for a while. Yeah. No, just focus on
But
one. It's a lot. It's a lot to go live because there's a lot happening. There's questions and there's things popping up, and it's a lot. So
yeah.
thank you very, very much. I hope you have a great
Thanks for
night.
having me.
And I'm gonna binge on some of the videos you talked about. I don't think I've seen, so I got to go binge on all your content.
Yeah, I've been doing videos daily, at least once a day since November 7th.
Great.
Only about this topic.
Wow. That's great.
Yeah,
I'm glad
almost
you
every
made the
day,
video that
sometimes
you
twice a day.
made. I'm glad you made the video that you made that you posted yesterday because that's what triggered me to finally go, this is exactly what's been in my mind. I wanted to talk about this. So it was perfect. So thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
All right. Have a good night. We'll see you again
You too.
soon. I don't know
All
when.
right.
We're figuring it out. Bye. Okay. I think somebody else was in here that wanted to come up. I can't remember where it is, where the person is, but I probably should go because I have to go. I have a lot of stuff to do tomorrow. You guys, thank you so much for coming in here. For everybody who's new, thank you. Thank you, Clarissa. Thank you for hanging out. That was amazing. That was like exactly what I needed. It was like a total authentic or, organic journey because I've been thinking about wanting to talk about, make a video talking about the psychic process with this whole contest because people are getting it wrong. Not you guys, but other people. And I was like, we got to make a video. And I had reached out to her and she's like, yeah, definitely. And then last night I saw that she had a video about that, about her process and about the whole thing. And that's when I finally just said, all right, will you come on my live? And she's like, yeah, definitely. So that worked out. It was a win-win. Thank you guys so much. It was great seeing so many new faces in here too. And thank you to my moderators. Thank you, Janine. I don't know who else is here in the moderator world. Let me know if you're here, but thank you so much. And I don't know, I didn't see a lot of troll stuff. Was there? It seems like it wasn't too bad. I mean, some nights it's horrific. It's like, but it seemed like it was, maybe you guys were doing a really good job and I wasn't seeing it. So, yeah, Lori by Design, where are you? I grew up in Scottsdale in Arizona. Neuralink is connected to the Mad Hatter. Neuralink, is that the stars? Space Boys stars? Is that what you're talking about? Or what's Neuralink? I don't know what that is. What's up with tomorrow? I think, some information is going to start coming out, but it's going to be a long process. We just have to strap in and be ready for a long process. But I do think some information is finally going to start coming out, out on top, like boop, finally. We've all been feeling it, the intuitives. We've all been knowing things are going on, but yeah. A Neuralink is a brain implant. Okay, so I haven't heard of that. I'm still coming back from COVID, so maybe I just missed that. Everything he says is horrible. Like, that he's had babies with surrogates, and then he just reposted something the other day about C-sections and how they're better because they have their brain intact or something. I'm like, why are you trying to avoid the vajayjay so much, bro? Like, just what? You can't remove us from this process of birth. I mean, if we're up to him, everybody would be like, inside of a beaker, or like a test tube or something. Do you think I don't think it's really like that, McKinley. Like, I don't think it's like there's a certification from what I've gotten. I don't know, but it seems more like this is just another step in the process. And I think that there is finally going to be some statement or some behavior or statement made about some states not moving forward with this. And so then we're going to start moving in that direction. That's my feeling about it. Any other last minute questions? Janine, thank you so much for your wonderful moderation. I really appreciate it. That book looks good. I have to check out her book. Yeah, 21 states did not send in their ballots. That's right. Well, not ballots, certificate. Their official certificates. They sent in the first one, which was due like either December 23rd or December 25th. They've sent that one in, but the official one, they haven't sent in yet, 21 states. And 6 of those states are in the swing states. Thank you, Lindsay. I'm so glad you're here. Yay. I wasn't sure if you're here. Mystical. Thank you for the heart puffs. Good to see you. Were you here earlier, Mystical? Or did you just get here? Is there a timeline shift tomorrow? The Lotus Moon. I have a weird view of the whole timeline switching thing. I wanted to ask her about that. I forgot. I'll ask her another time, but I don't know. I feel like there's so many timelines always happening that the way it's being packaged, where the 3D, 5D timeline thing, I've never resonated with that. So I don't know. I'm probably not the person to ask. Thank you, Mystical. Thank you. You've been chatting for 30 minutes. I have not seen your comments, Lindsay, at all. I'm so sorry. It was going by really fast though, and it was just like certain ones would come through. Oh, I'm so sorry. I wish there was another way they could do the chat, Thank you, Jana. Thank you. I know. I'm so sorry. You're like, I have been asking questions and you were ignoring me. I didn't even see it. So I'm so sorry about that. She's so great. Thank you. Thank you, Gypsy, for the heart me. Make sure you guys do a heart me before you leave. and that you follow me. I have to do all the housekeeping stuff. I didn't see your comments, Ninja. I saw, thank you for the heart me. I saw when you came in, and that's it. I saw that it said Ninja came in, and I was like, oh, good. But I didn't see any of your comments. Isn't that crazy? What the heck? Um, that's interesting. Now that I'm seeing you guys had comments, I'm feeling bad because definitely, hey, Jacob, if you had questions, I'm really sorry that I didn't get to them. We'll do it. We'll do it again. We'll definitely go live again. I mean, this is going to be a long, dragged out process with the legalities of everything, and so we'll just keep going live. There's a couple of the people I want to go live with too that are kind of doing this work on their channel. And if you guys like that, if that's something you guys found value in, that a couple of us join together and sort of talk so you can see different styles. I have my style, she has her style, and how we view things. I think that might be helpful. I know I think it's helpful. So when there's a guest in the live stream, connects can't be pinned by moderators. Yeah. When there's a guest, when there's any more, even one person, no comments can be pinned. It's only when I'm by myself I can pin a comment. So like right now, I'm going to pin Laura's comment, but you can't pin when there's a co-host. I hate that. I wish you could. I think because it just makes the chat so small because, it's already like right here. And then when there's two people, it goes down even more. So, hi, Cicely. How are you? Dubella, thank you. You like the collaboration. Yeah, good. Thank you. I'm glad. I really liked it too. Yeah, what time is all that stuff happening tomorrow in DC? And the other thing we have to remember, there's a snowstorm there tomorrow. So what we even think is going to happen tomorrow, they might even postpone it until Tuesday. That's what everybody's getting. And that's what Ethical was saying too, is that she's getting that there's going to be the grid outage. And sometimes things are metaphorical and sometimes they're literal. So what does that mean? Sometimes we don't know. We get a feeling about something or you get information and you're not sure in what way. You're looking for where it plugs in. So with a big snowstorm coming in that area, big snowstorm, they might not go out, they might not even have a session tomorrow. So Lori by Design, we should do a podcast. I would love that. Definitely at the very least, I have to interview her on my podcast. Absolutely. Thank you. I feel like I'm so like unofficial. Like, I don't know how to describe it. In my mind, the spiritual part of me is like her, like, grounded and like talking about guides. And she's very confident and she's done so many things and so much public speaking and teaching and writing a book. And like, that's me, like in my mind. But then I'm like, you know what I mean, you guys, like spirit guides and stuff. Like I say it in such a way that's so, I don't know. I have a lot of growing to do about having that be like a thing. I don't know if I know how to describe that, but I know when I'm with my friends, I'm very solid in how I talk about stuff. It's just when I get public, I'm like, I don't know, kind of like, yeah, stop. I know. Anyways, weather isn't constant. Anything can happen with that. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, there's going to be so much happening when energy is that charged, physical stuff happens. Yes, that's true. I might not be live tomorrow night. I'll try. I know that's going to be hard. I have to go on a little trip tomorrow that wasn't planned. So I'll try to go live definitely, but it's going to be difficult. And if I go live, it'll probably be really late. I'll definitely try to post a video though. So, yeah, because I'm going to be doing the driving. So I know I don't want to go anywhere tomorrow, but it's kind of unavoidable. And I am in the West Coast. I mean, I don't feel unsafe. It's not like I have bumper stickers on my car that are like, raspberries can kick dirt. I'm not a bumper sticker person. I have a friend in Northern California that I was borrowing her car for a while. And she has like the most liberal bumper stickers, but in the area is not liberal. I was terrified. Everywhere I went in that car, I was like, thank you for letting me use your Prius, but I'm terrified and I don't want to use your Prius anymore. Because it like drew so much attention, but she likes that. I don't like that. I don't do bumper stickers like that, and all that kind of stuff. Thank you, Lindsay. I know I will. I'm going to get some sleep. You guys are awesome. I'm so glad I met so many new people tonight. So if you're new, just I look forward to getting to know you. I go live most days, most nights, usually pretty, like 8 p.m. Arizona time, 7 p.m. California time. Love you, Mystical. I'll try to repost the live because I thought it was excellent. She's great. And I'll try to repost the live. And yeah, you can check it out. It was like 2 hours long. We had some technical problems in the beginning, but then we got over it and we're okay. But yeah, so it's good seeing you guys. I love seeing all my regulars, my friends that you guys always come in. I'm so happy to see you guys. Oh, Gypsy, you're in Australia. Well, we're all going to be using Australia VPNs pretty soon. um, welcome, Australia. That's awesome. It's Monday, what, afternoon there right now, or Monday evening? How far ahead are you? Thank you, 100. I will stay safe and positive. Trek Tracer, you just found me tonight. Awesome. I'm glad you did. Was it on the For You page? I mean, how did you find it? My hair is crazy right now. How'd you find it? Just probably was just, yeah, maybe someone shared it that you follow or something. Um, yeah, I definitely want to do that more often because I like introducing my people to other people, and I like interviewing people. I like kind of asking them questions and picking their brain. So that's fun for me. I really like it. So it's Monday for oh yeah, that's right. It's summer there. That's right. It's warm. I'm seeing all the huntsman spider videos right now in Australia because it's the summer. Thank you, Mystical. Thank you. And she'd only gone live once before. I did not know that. So I feel like a live doula. I'm helping people go live. I've helped so many people go live and then go off and go live. So I like that. Oh, you follow ethical. Perfect. I love that. Good. All right. Well, if you guys ever have any ideas of anybody you think would be cool to do this type of thing with, again, we'll definitely do it with ethical again. But if there's another creator here on TikTok, let me know. Just send me a message. You totally are. You totally are. Thank you, Janine. Everybody follow Janine and say thank you to her because she was an awesome moderator tonight. She kept things rolling along. I didn't have to see any crazy comments. There was also a new person in here. What was her name? I just modded her because she was here, she was like the first person here. So I was like, okay, perfect. Yeah, thank you, Mystical. Yeah, Janine's awesome. You can follow her. She goes live Tuesdays-ish. She's a writer. She has a podcast, and she's just a very intuitive, awesome person. So she's a good person to support also. All right, you guys, I'm going to get going. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and Ethical. And again, if you want me to do this with somebody else, another creator, let me know. Send me a message, and I'll reach out to them if I don't already talk to them. I don't talk to everybody, but I talk to a few people. So, yeah. And make sure you're following me and hearting me if you can. And I hope you guys have a great night. Just remember, you signed up for this. We all did. Our spirits are really annoying because they have all these great ideas for our life. And then we get here and we're like, what the hell? I didn't sign up for this, but we did. There was some amazing people who helped tag troublemakers. Oh, nice. Good. Big thank you to them. So thank you to anybody who tagged the troublemakers. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's definitely not a one-person job. I mean, wasn't there what was the peak? How many people were in here? I saw 500 and something at some point. So yeah, the earth is so populated. I don't know. It's the way we want it, I guess. We'll see what happens. But okay, so I'll see you guys, if not 528. Nice. Very nice. Thank you, Janine. So that's a new record for me. I see myself getting to the thousands, and because we're gonna get more people talking about spirit, talking about intuition. We need to get more people on this page. Like, stop watching regular news and start checking in with yourself and start building your spirit family of people that make you feel like, okay, yeah, I resonate with this person. And they keep you calm. They make you, remind you of who you really are. That's what you have to do. You have to build the people that will remind you of who you really are and how powerful you are, how powerful we all are. We're not victims. We came here intentionally during this time because this is what I always say that to my mom. We signed up for this. She's like, she just looks like she's been driven behind a truck, you know, dragged behind a truck. She's so stressed out. And I try to help her, but it's hard because she's got, you know, but I'm like, Mom, starting tomorrow, things will start finally coming out. Because I've been talking about my stuff, and I'm like the one crazy person around here. But yay for the blue delulus. How do they say it? Balulu? Like for the blue delusionals? I'm okay with that. I'll see you guys tomorrow in one way or the other. And stay positive, stay grounded. We're going to be okay. Everything's going to be all right. It's going to get bumpy, but it's going to be good. Okay? Okay. Love you guys so much. And I will talk to you guys next time.